Now here in the back you can see a very small region called the directions gland. Now this here is the reason that many females have to use a GPS to get to the gas station. This 5 minutes down.
I feel so called out. I feel so freaking called out. Sometimes I just need to use a GPS to go to a place that I've been to many times just because I'm not sure if I really know the directions or not. Hi YouTube, welcome back in home. My name is Cypress and today we'll be watching a video by Ginger Billy. This is the anatomy of the male brain.
Hello, Marco. Since the beginning of time, women have looked at men and they've asked themselves, I wonder what's going on inside his head. Well, today I'm going to show you with an in-depth presentation of the anatomy of the male brain. Now, as you can see, there's two male brains. This male brain is located in the skull, and this brain is located
it's down there, isn't it?
in the genitalia region.
Yeah,
now,
we know that. We know that.
We'll get to this one later. Now, as you can see at the front of the male brain is an area called man vision. This area gives a man the ability to see a deer 800 yards away in the middle of a cornfield. But it gives him the inability to see a bottle of ketchup on the second shelf of the refrigerator.
Honestly, I cannot see the bottle of ketchup on the second thing in the fridge either. But I also cannot see the deer, so I guess I'm just blind.
And after the man's spouse has told him the location of the ketchup bottle multiple times. Now you can see here this very small, almost non-existent area of
the toilet aiming center.
brain is called the toilet aiming center. Now ladies, a lot of y'all think that us men just walk in, we pull our britches down, and we gyrate our hips and try to pee everywhere. But that ain't the case. See, the fact is we have a very small toilet aiming center. And that is because for millions of years, men peed outside freely, peeing wherever we wanted to. Then over the last
True. Forcing you now to pee in the bowl.
100 years, we were asked to pee into an area the size of a football. That is why the toilet aiming center is so small. Now, the beer gland can also affect the toilet aiming center. You see, as the beer gland gets larger, the toilet aiming center gets way inaccurate.
I was reading that in Dutch because in Dutch you write a bear, the animal bear, like that. So I was like, what the f? Why do we have a bear gland? But we're talking about alcohol. I want to say, like, at least you guys can aim though. We have to sit down.
That is why a lot of drunk dudes pee all over the place. This is the lame excuses gland. Ladies, if you've ever had a fella break up with you and him say, well, I just love you so much that I'm scared you might break my heart, so I'm going to break up with you. That came from the lame
excuse gland. Okay.
As you can see here, this is the remote control and TV center. This is responsible for men being able to go into any establishment and sniff out a remote control and a TV like a bloodhound.
Oh, you guys can find the remote control anywhere? This is like a fact that I did not know.
And why men like to watch what they want to watch, and they don't care about what anybody else wants to watch.
Oh.
Now, as you can see here, this is the outside chores region and the inside chores region. The outside chores region is much larger. That is why men like to cut the grass. They like to rake, and they like to weed eat. And the
do you guys like it? Do you guys like it? Like, I just grew up that the guys had to do the outside stuff just because that can be more difficult for a female, they would say. I do not agree with that, but that's just how I've been brought up.
The inside chores region is much smaller. That's why men are almost incapable of folding towels, washing dishes, and ironing clothes. Now this here is the ball sports region. This region is responsible for collecting all sports data, favorite players, favorite teams, favorite coaches, etc. Now this region gets so large that other parts of the brain have to shrink, like the anniversaries and birthdays.
Priorities straight, the balls and sport region needs to grow.
That's why a lot of men can tell you who won the 1996 National Football Championship, but they can't tell you their wedding anniversary.
But then if they do remember, you're pretty special, I think.
Here is the measurement center of the male brain.
But to be honest, the message center is still, it starts out really big. That's a positive thing about it.
The measurement center is very accurate, and it can tell exactly what size nut, bolt, sprocket, or any other tool is needed.
Oh, that kind of nut. I was like, what nut?
But the measurement center becomes very inaccurate when men are measuring body parts below the waist.
Oh, we're talking about peepees.
Now this here is the power tools and heavy equipment gland. Now, men will notice as they get older, this gland will get larger.
Is that true? Have you seen that this gland is getting larger the older you get?
That's why their urge to go to Home Depot and Lowe's becomes greater and greater.
You know, I have something similar to this, not power tools. I get really excited about organizing stuff. I'm in the part in my life that I notice that I really get excited when I'm in a store and I see organizing boxes. And then I'm like, I need to get it. I feel like that's something similar.
As they age. Now this here's the HFTG gland. The hunting, fishing, trucks, and guns gland.
The hunting, fishing, and what?
The hunting, fishing, trucks, and guns gland.
Oh, trucks and guns.
When men get together, this gland swells.
Yeah.
And that's when they talk about who killed the biggest buck, who caught the biggest fish, who's got the best truck.
I know that about the fishing part at least. Like I saw those clips that you see guys taking pictures with their wives or their girlfriends and they just look like they're not happy. And then you see them taking a picture with the fish that they caught and then they are extremely happy.
Got the most guns. Now at the very back of the brain, you will see the listening gland. Now the listening gland soaks up
That's barely anything, but at least it's bigger than the toilet aiming center.
all information and it sends it out to other regions of the brain. But for whatever reason, the listening gland completely shuts down when a man's wife is telling him something she thinks is really important. Now, I know a lot of y'all wondering, well, where's the sex region at?
Why? It's really important though.
Now, I know a lot of y'all wondering, well, where's the sex region at in the male brain? Well, let me direct you down here to the second male brain, which is located down at the male's crotch. Now, this male brain can be smaller in some men and larger in some men. But no matter the size, the second male brain controls the first male brain.
That is so funny. The second brain is so small and it controls the brain that is even bigger. I mean, I know he said it could be bigger. Like the size doesn't have to be this size, but still,
Here is the message center. This area receives all messages from the second brain. And it don't matter what's going on up here in this brain. If this little brain here decides, hey, I want to have sex, it shoots a message up to the big brain.
That's why we need post-nut clarity, huh?
And all of this right here, this whole region, becomes the sex region. And I will say that this gland here, the beer gland, can have a very large effect on the second male brain. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have enjoyed
that was
this
very
presentation
interesting.
of the
Thank
anatomy
you.
Of the male brains. God
Thank you
bless
for
y'all.
giving this lesson to me. Oh, he also has the anatomy of a married female's brain. Let's watch that as well.
Hello, America.
Hi.
I have been married for 5 years now, and during that time I have been performing secret psychological studies on my wife to see if I can figure out how
Secret?
the female brain works. During those in-depth studies, I came up with a diagram of the female brain.
First thing I see, headache generator. Okay.
Look, first I'd like to point you to this very, very tiny gland down here at the bottom of the brain called the what do I want to eat gland. Now fellas, I know you have often wondered, why can my girlfriend or wife never figure out what or where she wants
Because I
to
don't
eat?
know what I want
And
to
that is
eat.
Because the female what do I want to eat gland is very small.
Yes.
So small, in fact,
Yes.
that it is almost non-existent.
It's true, I don't know what I want to
You can see
eat.
the SCJ region of the brain, the shoes, clothes, and jewelry, which is located in the front near the eyeballs. Now, what's interesting about this region of the brain here is that it can send messages to other parts of the brain. Let's just say a man walks into his house with a shiny new necklace for his wife. Well, this region of the brain here is going to send a message all the way across the brain to the very small pea-like sex gland. The sex gland will actually grow in size for a very brief moment in time, allowing the male a chance to
People are gonna
get
misunderstand
with the
this.
female. And believe me, it's a very small window. I know. As you
It's
can
a
hear, this is the
very
I
small
told you so
window.
gland. Anytime a male and female get into an argument and the male is wrong, this gland here will fire off a message and the female will say, I told you so.
You know why this happens? It's because your listening gland is so small. That's why we end up saying, I told you so. Because you weren't listening. Because your gland is so small.
We can see here, this is the gossip region of the brain, which is responsible for holding all the juicy gossip and relaying all the juicy gossip. For example, If a woman finds out that her next door neighbor, who is married, is having an affair with another man, the gossip region of the brain will shoot a message down to the fingers, who will then send a text to all of her friends saying that her next door neighbor is a hoe. Now, in some females, this area can be very large. I'm talking about taking up almost the whole entire...
Yeah, some people have a very big gossip glands, and some don't.
We have the headache generator. Now, the headache generator can send messages to other parts of the brain as well. If a man were to walk into a bedroom with his wife and he's feeling frisky, and the wife sees it, but she ain't feeling frisky, the headache generator will actually start pulsating. This will cause a headache.
Wait, I actually do have headaches a lot. So it's the fault of this headache generator, huh?
This will in turn send a message to the sex gland, shutting off the sex gland, causing the female to show no love or affection towards the male.
That darn headache generator.
Which gives the man all the signs that she don't want to get frisky. But you know how good us men are at reading signs. As I said, this here...
It's nice when you said that.
But you know how good us men are at reading signs. As I said, this here is the sex gland. What's so interesting about the sex gland is that after marriage, the sex gland seems to shrink, and the I told you so gland seems to get larger. Here we have the anniversaries and birthdays region of the brain. It's very large because females seem to be able to remember everybody's anniversary and birthday.
That's true. I don't know why. I can barely remember what I ate yesterday, but for some reason I can tell you when your birthday is if you told me that once.
Ever come into contact with. Now here in the back you can see a very small region called the directions gland. Now this here is the reason that many females have to use a GPS to get to the gas station this 5 minutes down.
I feel so called out. I feel so freaking called out. Sometimes I just need to use a GPS to go to a place that I've been to many times just because I'm not sure if I really know the directions or not.
They've been to multiple times. Now this can be small.
So this is like a female thing, huh?
Males too, because I know plenty of guys that can't get nowhere without a GPS. Now, as you can see here at the...
I will die without a GPS. No, I'm kidding. I think I will probably be able to get where I need to go without the GPS. It's just gonna be it's gonna be a process. Yeah, let me say that. It's gonna be a process.
Of the brain is a very large gland called the every bad thing my husband has ever done gland. Now, this is so large because it holds a lot of information. And of course, the longer the relationship, the more the guy screws up, the bigger this gland gets. And you see, this gland holds all this information so it can be reused at certain times. For example, if my wife was to do something right now to tick me off, and I was to tell her about it, her every bad thing my husband has ever done gland will shoot out a message and say, hey, why don't you remind him of that stupid thing he did back in 2012 to make you mad? And last but not least, the ice cream and sweets region of the brain, which is located...
That's my favorite part of the brain.
For good reason. If you want a female to forget about every bad thing you've ever done, if you want her to forget about gossiping, you want her to forget about...
Just give me ice cream.
...her headache, and you want to increase the size of that...
This is 100% accurate.
Get her some ice cream or some sweets.
100% accurate.
Ain't only the way to a female's brain.
Yes.
It's also the way to her heart.
Yes.
Hope y'all have enjoyed my presentation.
I did.
Of the female brain.
Thank you. Hi. If you like the video, please make sure that you like it and subscribe to my channel and turn on notification bell if you want to see more of it. I also go live on Twitch and on this YouTube channel. So come join us sometimes. Bye.